I always thought I was this worldly man, and I never had to get on a plane for it. And then I got on an ambulance. And now I got to interact with every culture in the world. Every morning, I've been blessed to be able to put my uniform on. I make sure that they know that they're the reason I'm speaking in front of a classroom. I'm coming across more sensitive and more caring providers than I've ever seen before. They've definitely brought out the best in me. That is what's going to bring this field and our colleagues into the future. What gives me goosebumps, the future of EMS. My background, my certification is I'm what New York State calls an emergency medical technician basic. You're a beginner level EMT in some eyes. What I consider it is I am the baseline of the life-saving mechanics pre-hospital. Best thing I adopted was advice given to me by Miss Balzano, my kindergarten teacher at St. Xavier's Elementary School. If you overuse sir, please, ma'am, and thank you, it will alleviate 99% of what issues you could potentially have with any person in this world. This was always supposed to be a stopgap. My parents had recently retired, so I left my education behind. I had a life in Rockland County where I was operating as a fireman, at a job, at a house, but I wanted to make sure my parents were okay. So I came home and I started working in construction. I ran 2 construction sites, one in Sunset Park and one in Williamsburg, and I missed the community affairs. So I took an EMT course and I figured I'll do that on the side. That was almost 20 years ago. I graduated EMT school in 2006. I have not looked back once. And every morning I've been blessed to be able to put my uniform on. And when I say that, I mean the one I wear out in the street and the one I wear in the classroom. And I've never been prouder. When you see a paramedic student or an EMT student in the field, they have this 1,000-yard stare. For some of them, it's fear. For some of them, it's indecisiveness. Some of them, you could see that they believe they're going through some kind of imposter syndrome. When our students are in the field and I see them operate, I do my best, before they notice me, to observe them and ensure they're okay. But they're confident. They're put together. To see our students thriving, that makes all the world to me. I'm still trying to figure that one out myself. For the longest time, I did what was expected of us. It was buck up, do the next job. Wipe it off. The day's gotta go. That call happened. The next one will be better. And I did not realize the toxicity that mindset had built in me. And my family had a health scare. My brother got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and we decided to get healthy together. And nothing worked. He was doing really good. I wasn't. I did everything right. Diet, exercise. Actually started going to doctors. Nothing worked. And then I was middle of COVID, and I'm out of contract, and brand new EMT. He's breaking down because it was the first time he had to deal with it was the death of an elderly patient, and he could not handle it. And I saw myself about to give him the same advice. And I was like, I can't do that to this kid. He's too smart. He's too caring. So I told him that it's okay. You can be sad about this. If you can get to the next call, give it your best. If you can't give it your best, do what needs to be done until you can. And then I thought back, I was like, what have I been doing? And ever since then, I've been trying to find that good, healthy mindset. I tell people to share instead of going home and putting it away, share their day. If you can't do it at home, find somewhere where you can. Absolutely. Anyone who's ever come to me and asked me, then this predates my tenure here. Is there a place for me in EMS? And I tell them, even if you don't make this your career path, the information gained in an EMS program, an EMT program especially, is pivotal. Someone in every family should have the basic medical skills that are provided in an EMT program. But the real tools that are gained is the self-confidence, the cool-headedness in times that no one can be. This education will set you up for many, many things. Now, if the career is for you, the only person that can tell you that is you. We're living in the future. Right now is the best time for that. I'll tell you what I tell all of the new staff that have arrived on my unit that have limited experience. You are now practicing medicine. We do not perform medicine. We do not perfect it. We practice it because it is ever changing. There is no mastery in our skill, so your education is your responsibility. Reach out to your governing bodies, your scholastic bodies. Keep up with your teachers. REMSCO is a invaluable resource. Your state is an invaluable resource. That's actually tough because now that I'm getting closer to 40, I look back and all I see are lights and sirens. Truth be told, until I got to meet Khalid and until I met Megan, I always thought becoming an EMT and doing the things that I did there was. I think being a teacher, but not just that, being a teacher here at BMCC, a school that I was a student at one point, it means the world. No, I never asked, but I really hope it's my intent that I make sure that they know that They're the reason I'm speaking in front of a classroom. They've definitely brought out the best in me. I find myself to be far calmer and far more understanding than I ever have been. I can definitely see, and I've been told of many personality changes that I've taken on since I went to the front of the classroom instead of the back. I need to find out the name of this doctor and this TED Talk. This has to easily be a 15-year-old TED Talk. It was held by this famous cardiologist. This poor woman had gone to specialists for almost 4 years just because she felt ill. And everyone told her that she's being silly. Sometimes you feel ill. And it got to the point that she actually gained a hypochondria diagnosis by specialists, which is very weighted in our field. Until she finally made it to this one cardiologist who touched her. He took vital signs on her not with a machine, with a sphygmometer. He did a physical exam. He laid hands so that he could heal. It is too often I see in the field now, in BLS providers and ALS providers, we rely on our tools and our screens, and we're not speaking to patients, we're not touching our patients. They are not the next task. They are the reason we showed up. As of now, one of our main issues is identification. There are many health systems still in existence that have EMS providers, be it ALS, BLS, listed as either attendees or ambulance drivers. We are looked at as what our beginnings were. When EMS began, it started with orderlies, and that mindset has not changed. We are clinicians. We are providers. We need to be looked at like that, and that is the identity we need to behold. Us as providers need to believe that. But the belief isn't enough. We need to provide that service, that level of care to our patients. If we want to be seen as providers, we must act as them, present ourselves to the public as such. For many, many years, my nickname in EMS has always been Panda, because I look like a panda. The next thing would be that I've had all of the jobs. I was a preschool para when I was 18 or 17, something like that. I was a fireman in Rockland County. I interned with the Sheriff's Department. I've added buildings to the New York City skyline. I've worked on Wall Street. I've taught in the classroom. EMS is what I love, but I think teaching might be what I want to end my career on. If you were to ask me in 2006 if the program content that I had just finished was college level, I might have laughed at you. But that might have actually been true, though. If I had to learn the things that I have to know now, The only way it would be possible is in a college classroom with college level professors. The level of care I'm responsible for, the only way it can be provided and shared is with the highly trained instructors that I'm accustomed with here at BMCC. Without the scrutiny a college level course has to go through, a person would be hard pressed to know whether or not they're getting an education that would either be worthwhile or would truly prepare them. It's the future of our field. It's where we've always meant to be, but we've gotten to the point it's the only place we should be. I hate to say it because with the level of certification I hold, I have fed my family and I've housed them. I've made a career. I've had a life because of it. But the EMTB level needs to be something of the dinosaurs. At the very least, here in New York, a municipality of this size should only be responsibly cared for at the very basis with the EMTI. No one operating in the 911 field should not be able to, at the very least, provide a supraglottic airway and begin an IV. I believe they should be able to do IV medications, but that's up for debate. In the future, I hope to see, and I expect it, the paramedic practitioner. We have gotten to a point in science and in technology. Our emergency rooms should not look as full as they do. Many things that we do should and could be treated at home. At this point, it's more of a theory and a hope, but community medicine, concierge medicine, it's the future of medicine, period. The idea of the paramedic practitioner is akin to what a PA is to a doctor. It would be a paramedic with all the skill levels and all the corollary that they currently hold, but also the ability to do further exams, do further interventions, and possibly prescribe, non-level 1 medications, analgesics, things that will ease suffering, cure illness, that are readily available at neighborhood pharmacies. They need to remember that they were made with 2 ears and 1 mouth, 2 eyes to see. Know the goings on around you at all times. When you walk into someone's home, you're still a guest. Do best not to insult them. Look around their home, but don't be intrusive. Best providers I've ever had the opportunity to operate with have been chameleons of the field. They've known more about the world and its going-ons than anyone I've had to interact with. A worldliness will go light years for you. Understanding the way things work, or why they work. Or at the very least, if all you've ever done was wait tables, find the skills and the tools from those experiences because they translate. What gives me goosebumps the future of EMS. We're coming into a very young field. And I'm coming across more sensitive and more caring providers than I've ever seen before. Society now is more attuned to their feelings and doing their best to lift that stigma of mental health. And that is what's going to bring this field and our colleagues into the future. My now ex-partner at Sinai came to me with no experience whatsoever. A few months in transport, but one of the most self-aware providers I've ever had the pleasure of being with. The first words out of his mouth is, "I know what they taught me in class, and I know that I don't know what I'm doing out here." And now I look at him, and I can proudly tell you, I have not even the second thought about him treating my loved ones, my mother and my brothers. He is in a very short time gone from someone who had a small understanding of what the course taught him to being my equal. And seeing that growth is just absolutely amazing. I am very proud of it, a lifelong New Yorker. You may be able to tell that from my voice. But I grew up in Brooklyn at a different time than it is now. And even though it was a melting pot, you found yourself around what you knew. So I always thought I was this worldly man, and I never had to get on a plane for it. And then I got on an ambulance. And now I got to interact with every culture in the world. I'm going to steal another one from Miss Falzano. Oh, for you, sir, please, ma'am, and thank you. If I can get everyone just to portray professionalism and the base level of just good manners. If I could say that about my students, I will retire happily.